Did you ever wonder what it's like to grow up in a world that's constantly asking, "What are you?" Not, "Who are you?" but "What?" In a town that thrives on labels, black, white, Latino, Asian, these 10 stars never quite fit the mold. Born from 3 rich cultural bloodlines, they didn't just challenge the system, they rewrote it. From the soulful voice of a girl raised in Hell's Kitchen, to a wrestling dynasty turned box office legend, to a supermodel who faced rejection before owning every runway on the planet. Some were bullied for looking too different. Some were told they weren't black enough or Latina enough. And others? Hollywood just didn't know what to do with them until they made the world pay attention. In this video, we're diving deep into the lives of 10 triracial stars who didn't just succeed. They transformed Hollywood while embracing every layer of who they are. So sit back, stay locked in, and prepare to be inspired. Number 1. Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana. Before she ruled the galaxies in Avatar and Guardians of the Galaxy, Zoe Saldana was just a young girl growing up in a world where her identity didn't fit into a simple box. Born in New Jersey to a Dominican father and Puerto Rican mother, Zoe carries a rich triracial heritage, a powerful blend of African, Taino, indigenous Caribbean, and European ancestry. But Zoe's childhood took a dramatic turn when her father tragically died in a car accident. At just 9 years old, her mother moved the family back to the Dominican Republic. There, Zoe immersed herself in ballet and dance, 2 passions that would later shape her signature grace on screen. Returning to the U.S. as a teenager, Zoe began her acting journey not in glamorous roles, but with small parts that often tried to typecast her. Hollywood didn't know where to place a woman who was black, Latina, and indigenous. Too ethnic for white roles, not black enough for others, Zoe stood in the in-between. But instead of conforming, she created her own lane. With Drumline, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Star Trek, Zoe showed her range. Then came Avatar and Guardians, turning her into a box office legend. She's now one of the highest-grossing actresses in film history. But beyond her roles, Zoe speaks boldly about being proud of all parts of her identity. She rejects Hollywood's racial boxes and uplifts Afro-Latina and triracial representation. From tragedy to triumph, Zoe Saldana didn't just break barriers, she became the blueprint for triracial success in Hollywood. Number 2. Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel, born as Mark Sinclair on July 18, 1967 in Alameda County, California, Vin Diesel's entrance into the world was wrapped in mystery. Raised by his white mother, Dolores Shirlene Vincent, an astrologer with English, German, and Scottish ancestry, Vin never knew his biological father. His stepfather, Irving Vincent, an African-American theater director, became the father figure who introduced him to performance and culture. From a young age, Vin's racial identity was questioned constantly. His ambiguous features sparked curiosity. But for Diesel, it sparked frustration. "I'm of ambiguous ethnicity," he later said. "You're not black enough for the black roles. You're not white enough for the white roles." This struggle led him to embrace his triracial heritage, a powerful blend of African-American, Italian, and European roots. Growing up in the heart of New York City, Vin turned to creativity as his weapon. At age 7, he made his stage debut in a children's play. But the road to fame wasn't smooth. Tired of rejection, he wrote, directed, and starred in a powerful short film titled Multifacial, a raw, emotional look into the life of a multiracial actor being boxed in by Hollywood. That short got into the Cannes Film Festival and caught the eye of Steven Spielberg. The legendary director was so moved, he rewrote a part in Saving Private Ryan just for Vin. From there, he became the face of Fast and Furious, XXX, and Riddick, a multi-billion-dollar powerhouse. Yet through all the explosions and action, Diesel remains intensely private about his roots. He's never confirmed all the details, and maybe that's the point. Number 3. Rosario Dawson. Rosario Isabel Dawson was born on May 9, 1979 in New York City, in the heart of a tough neighborhood, to a young mother just 17 years old. Her mom, Isabel Celeste, is of Puerto Rican and Afro-Cuban descent, with a proud blend of African, Taino, and Spanish roots. Her biological father was never part of her life, and Rosario was later adopted by her stepfather, Greg Dawson, an Irish-American construction worker. That made Rosario Dawson's identity unmistakably triracial: Afro-Caribbean, Latina, and European, all fused into one fierce spirit. Growing up in an abandoned building on Manhattan's Lower East Side, Rosario's childhood was anything but easy. Her family was poor, but resourceful. She once said, "We didn't have much, but we had love, and that kept us going." Her unique looks and mixed heritage made her stand out, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in ways that made her feel invisible. Her life changed at age 15, when she was literally discovered sitting on her stoop by director Larry Clark and writer Harmony Korine. They cast her in the controversial indie film Kids, and just like that, her acting career exploded. Rosario refused to be typecast. From action to drama, from Rent to Sin City, she's played it all. She became one of the few actresses in Hollywood proudly embracing her complex identity, never hiding her Afro-Latina roots, never apologizing for being too much of anything. Off-screen, she's a fierce activist, fighting for racial justice, LGBTQ+ rights, and Latino empowerment. Rosario Dawson didn't just break into Hollywood. She kicked the door down, barefoot, bold, and beautifully triracial. Number 4. Meagan Good. Meagan Monique Good was born on August 8, 1981 in Panorama City, Los Angeles, California. From the very beginning, her identity was a rich tapestry of cultures. Her father, Leondis Leon Good, is of African American and Cherokee Native American descent. Her mother, Tyra Wardlow Doyle, is of Jewish and African American heritage. That makes Meagan proudly triracial: Black, Native American, and Jewish. She grew up in a deeply spiritual household where cultural pride and faith walked hand in hand. But being triracial in a world that loves labels? That wasn't easy. Meagan has spoken about being too exotic for some roles and not black enough for others. Casting directors couldn't figure her out, so she figured herself out first. She began acting at just 4 years old, landing roles in commercials and TV shows. By the time she was a teen, her breakout moment came in Eve's Bayou, a hauntingly beautiful film that put her talent on full display. Throughout the 2000s, she became the face of a new kind of Hollywood star, effortlessly shifting between urban films, thrillers, comedies, and horror. Whether it was Deliver Us from Eva, Stomp the Yard, or Think Like a Man, Meagan stood out. Not just for her beauty, but for her fire. And behind the scenes, she's been vocal about owning her narrative, from rejecting stereotypical roles to calling out colorism and pushing for better representation. Number 5. Tessa Thompson. Tessa Lynn Thompson was born on October 3, 1983 in Los Angeles, California, into a world of art, culture, and undeniable complexity. Her father, Mark Anthony Thompson, is an Afro-Panamanian musician and founder of the band Chocolate Genius, while her mother is of European and Mexican descent. That makes Tessa triracial: African, Latina, and white, a mix that Hollywood didn't know how to define. Growing up between Los Angeles and Brooklyn, Tessa lived in multiple worlds. She was raised on soul music, activism, and multicultural pride. Her triracial identity gave her perspective, but also posed challenges. In an industry obsessed with labels, Tessa was always not quite enough of anything for traditional casting molds. But she never saw her heritage as a burden. She saw it as a superpower. She studied cultural anthropology at Santa Monica College and pursued acting with laser focus. Her first breakout role came in the 2006 drama When a Stranger Calls, but it was her fierce, layered performances in projects like Dear White People, Creed, and Westworld that made Hollywood take notice. Then came the Big Bang, Thor, Ragnarok, where she redefined the Marvel Universe as Valkyrie, a bisexual warrior with depth and swag. Suddenly, Tessa was everywhere, not just on red carpets, but on magazine covers, political rallies, and cultural panels. Tessa Thompson doesn't just act, she represents. She refuses to be ethnically vague for Hollywood's comfort. Instead, she wears her triracial identity with power, pride, and elegance. Number 6. Dwayne Douglas Johnson. Dwayne Douglas Johnson was born on May 2, 1972 in Hayward, California. His father, Rocky Johnson, was a black Nova Scotian, a professional wrestler with deep African-Canadian roots. His mother, Ada Maivia, is Samoan, the daughter of legendary High Chief Peter Maivia, one of wrestling's royal bloodlines. Dwayne also has distant Irish ancestry, making him proudly triracial: Black, Samoan, and Irish. From the moment he entered the world, he carried the power of legacy. But life wasn't always glamorous. As a teenager, Dwayne moved around constantly, from New Zealand to Hawaii to Pennsylvania. He watched his family struggle. At times they were evicted, and at 14 he was arrested for fighting and theft. He had every reason to break, but instead, he built. He first dreamed of becoming an NFL star, but an injury shattered that path. That failure led him to embrace his wrestling roots, and in 1996, The Rock was born. With charisma, power, and mic skills like no one else, he became one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. Then, Hollywood called, and he answered like a storm. From The Scorpion King to Jumanji to Fast and Furious, The Rock transformed from athlete to action megastar, and he never shied away from his roots. He brings his Samoan culture into everything, from tattoos to rituals. He celebrates his Black heritage with pride, and he's always honored every thread of his identity. Dwayne Johnson didn't become the highest-paid actor in Hollywood by chance. He became a symbol of triracial strength, resilience, and relentless hustle. Number 7. Tyson Craig Beckford. Tyson Craig Beckford was born on December 19, 1970, in the Bronx, New York City. His striking looks didn't just come out of nowhere. They came from a deeply rich and diverse heritage. His mother, Hilary Dixon Hall, is of Chinese-Jamaican descent, while his father is Afro-Jamaican with Panamanian roots. That makes Tyson triracial, African, Asian, and Latino-Caribbean. But behind that flawless jawline and runway swagger is a story of real struggle. Shortly after his birth, Tyson's family moved back to Jamaica, where he spent his early childhood immersed in island life. Later, they returned to Rochester, New York, where life wasn't easy. Tyson was often bullied for his appearance. His slanted eyes, mixed-race features, and muscular build made him a constant target. Ironically, the same features that got him teased would one day make him a legend. In 1993, everything changed. A talent scout from The Source magazine spotted Tyson in a New York park. Soon after, he became the face of Ralph Lauren's polo line, a groundbreaking move for the fashion world. Tyson Beckford was not just a model. He was the first black male supermodel to reach global fame. Hollywood followed, and Tyson appeared in films, music videos, and reality TV. But he never forgot who he was, proudly representing his African, Chinese, and Caribbean ancestry in every interview, every campaign, and every red carpet. He shattered stereotypes of what beauty and masculinity could look like, for black men, for triracial men, and for the entire modeling industry. Number 8. Alicia Keys. Alicia Augello Cook, known to the world as Alicia Keys, was born on January 25, 1981, in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan, one of New York City's toughest neighborhoods. Her mother, Tessa Augello, is of Italian, Irish, and Scottish descent. Her father, Craig Cook, is African American. This blend makes Alicia proudly triracial: black, white, European, and Irish. Her parents split when she was just 2, and Alicia was raised by her single mother. Money was tight. The streets were rough. But her mother's determination and Alicia's inner fire turned struggle into strength. By age 7, she was playing classical piano. By 12, she was writing her own songs. By 16, she had graduated high school as valedictorian and was accepted into Columbia University, which she later left to pursue music full-time. What followed was history. In 2001, Alicia Keys dropped her debut album Songs in a Minor, and the world stood still. Her voice, her soul, her lyrics, they weren't just heard, they were felt. The album sold over 12 million copies and won 5 Grammy Awards. She was just 20 years old. But Alicia wasn't just another R&B star, she was different. Her mixed heritage, African American, European, and Irish, shaped her identity and gave her a voice that spoke across cultures and color lines. She embraced her natural hair. She stripped away makeup. She talked about race, self-worth, and the beauty of being unapologetically you. Alicia Keys didn't just give us music, she gave us a movement, rooted in her triracial truth and wrapped in powerful authenticity. Number 9. Maya Rudolph. Maya Kabira Rudolph was born on July 27, 1972 in Gainesville, Florida, into a family where greatness and culture ran deep. Her mother was none other than Minnie Riperton, the legendary African-American soul singer behind the hit Loving You. Her father, Richard Rudolph, is an Ashkenazi Jewish composer and producer of European descent. Maya also has Native American ancestry through her mother's side, making her proudly triracial: African American, Jewish European, and Native American. But Maya's childhood was a blend of both beauty and heartbreak. At just 6 years old, she lost her mother to cancer, a tragedy that left a deep mark on her identity. Raised in Los Angeles, Maya grew up immersed in music, comedy, and a swirl of cultural influences. Her mixed features and last name often led people to make assumptions. "People would ask me, 'What are you all the time?' she once said. But instead of hiding or conforming, she turned her identity into her superpower. After studying at UC Santa Cruz, Maya broke into the comedy world through improv, eventually landing a spot on Saturday Night Live in 2000. And that's where everything changed. With her sharp wit, musical timing, and unmatched impressions, Maya became one of the most beloved SNL cast members of all time. She was fearless, funny, and undeniably original. And as Hollywood tried to label her, Maya quietly broke every label down, refusing to let her triracial identity be simplified. She played any role she wanted. She was everything, and she made space for others to be too. Maya Rudolph didn't follow her mother's legacy. She created her own, one laugh, one boundary-breaking role at a time. Number 10. Halle Maria Berry. Halle Maria Berry was born on August 14, 1966, in Cleveland, Ohio. Her mother, Judith Ann Hawkins, is a white English nurse of English and German descent. Her father, Jerome Jesse Berry, was an African-American hospital attendant. Through her father's side, Halle also has Native American ancestry, making her proudly triracial: Black, white, European, and Indigenous American. Raised almost entirely by her white mother after her father abandoned the family when she was just 4, Halle grew up navigating a world that didn't reflect her reality. Living in a predominantly white neighborhood, she faced racism from a young age, both subtle and overt. She often said she felt like she lived between worlds, not fully accepted by either. But Halle wasn't built to break. She was built to rise. She began her journey in beauty pageants, eventually becoming the first African-American Miss World USA in 1986. But she didn't stop there. She chased Hollywood and refused to let her looks or racial ambiguity define her roles. She broke barriers in the 1990s with films like Boomerang, Bulworth, and Introducing Dorothy Dandridge, where she portrayed another biracial Hollywood trailblazer. Then came her Oscar-winning performance in Monsters Ball, making her the first and only Black woman to win Best Actress at the Academy Awards. Through it all, Halle has remained unapologetically herself, embracing every part of her triracial identity. She's spoken openly about colorism, identity politics, and the complexity of being seen as Black enough in an industry that often demands a clear box. Halle Berry didn't just represent, she redefined what it meant to belong everywhere and nowhere, all at once.